Pope Francis' Catechesis on Vices and Virtues. 5. Avarice. We are continuing our catechesis on vices and virtues, and today we will talk about greed, that form of attachment to money that keeps man from generosity. It is not a sin that regards only people with large assets, but rather a transversal vice, which often has nothing to do with bank balances. It is a sickness of the heart, not of the wallet. The Desert Fathers' analysis of this evil showed that greed could even take hold of monks, who, after having renounced enormous inheritances, clung to objects of little value in the loneliness of their cells. They would not lend them, they would not share them, and they were even less willing to give them away. An attachment to little things which takes away freedom. Those objects became a sort of fetish for them from which they could not detach themselves, a sort of regression to the state of children who clutch their toy, repeating, "It's mine, it's mine." A distorted relationship with reality lurks within this claim, which can result in forms of compulsive hoarding and pathological accumulation. To heal from this sickness, the monks proposed a drastic, though highly effective method: meditation on death. As much as one can accumulate goods in this world, we can be absolutely sure of one thing: they will not enter the coffin within us. We can take property with us. Here, the senselessness of this vice is revealed. The bond of possession we create with objects is only apparent, because we are not the masters of the world. This earth that we love is in truth not ours, and we move about it like strangers and pilgrims. Leviticus chapter 25, verse 23. These simple considerations allow us to see the folly of greed, but also its innermost raison d'être. It is an attempt to exercise fear of death. It seeks securities that in reality crumble the very moment we hold them in our hand. Remember the parable of the foolish man whose land had offered him a very abundant harvest, and so he lulled himself with thoughts of how to enlarge his storehouse to accommodate all the harvest. The man had calculated everything. He had planned for the future. He had not, however, considered the most certain variable in life, death. Fool, says the Gospel, this night your soul is required of you, and the things you have prepared, whose will they be? Luke chapter 12, verse 20. In other cases, it is thieves who provide this service to us. Even in the Gospel, they make a good number of appearances, and although their work may be reprehensible, it can become a salutary admonition. Thus preaches Jesus in the Sermon on the Mount: "Do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust consume, and where thieves break in and steal, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust consumes, and where thieves do not break in and steal." Matthew chapter 6, verse 19 to 20. The same accounts of the Desert Fathers tell the story of a thief who surprises a monk in his sleep and steals the few possessions he had in his cell. When he wakes up, not at all disturbed by what had happened, the monk sets out on the thief's trail, and when he finds him, instead of claiming the stolen goods, he hands over the few things that remained, saying, "You forgot to take these." We, brothers and sisters, may be the masters of the goods we possess, but often the opposite happens. They eventually take possession of us. Some rich men are no longer free. They no longer even have the time to rest. They have to look over their shoulder because the accumulation of goods also demands their safekeeping. They are always anxious because the patrimony is built with a great deal of sweat, but can disappear in a moment. They forget the gospel preaching, which does not claim that riches in themselves are a sin, but they are certainly a liability. God is not poor, he is the Lord of everything. But as St. Paul writes, though he was rich, yet for your sake he became poor, so that by his poverty you might become rich. 2 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 9. This is what the miser does not understand. It could have been a source of blessing to many, but instead he slipped into the blind alley of misery. And the life of a miser is ugly. I remember the case of a man I had met in the other diocese, a very rich man, and his mother was sick. He was married. The brothers took turns caring for the mother, and the mother used to have a yogurt in the morning. This man would give her half in the morning and the other half in the afternoon to save half the yogurt. This is greed. This is attachment to things. Then this man died, and the comments of the people who went to the vigil were, but you can see that this man has nothing on him. He left everything. And then making a bit of mockery, they would say, no, they couldn't close the coffin because he wanted to take everything with him. This greed makes the others laugh. The fact that in the end we must give our body and soul to the Lord and leave everything. Let us be careful and let us be generous with everyone and generous with those who need us most. Thank you. May God bless you all.